All right, everyone, welcome to Big Card, and today we're going to go ahead and look at these 5 cards. We want to take a really close look at these cards, see what kind of condition they're in. The thing is, with the increase of grading cards, the popularity increase of grading cards, having the skill set to be able to examine a card and determine what grade it's in. When you examine a raw card and being able to give a really good educated guess on what grade it's going to receive when you send it in, it's important. Obviously, it's important. And, these cards, I had them go out and, I had made videos on these cards to see which cards everyone felt was worthy, or not worthy, but better than the other card. These are the top 5 cards that won from that. It was 2 rounds, 2 or 3. I think it was 2 rounds, right? So I'm going to go ahead and these are the cards that won. I'm going to go ahead and take a really close look at them. This is going to be for education purposes. What I'm going to do is we're going to examine these cards together. We're going to go ahead and determine what is the grade should be, or what we think the grade is going to be. Then we're going to submit them. And I don't care if we think it's going to be a 6, an 8, or a 9, or a 10, or what have you. This is education. We're going to look at the card. We're going to say, yeah, this is a 7, or whatever it is, and we're going to submit it, and we're going to come and wait for the results. When the results come back, we're going to go back to our notes. That's why we've got pen and paper over here. I transferred to a digital document, but anyway. And then we're going to see, okay, we said this was going to be a 7 or an 8, and it came back as a 6, or came back as an 8.5. What did we learn? So I appreciate everyone just watching, and this is the skill sets that is going to set you aside from the rest. And I am not a professional grader at all. I'm very new to this, so I wanted to document. And I have gone back to look at my videos to see what kind of flaws that I find in the card again. So I figured I'll share this information. So let's just go right into it. We've got a 1992 Draft Picks Topps Gold Derek Jeter card. Centering looks like it may be off a tiny bit. I don't know if it's enough. Let me zoom in on this a little bit more so that way you can see. That's interesting. I'll be there in a minute. That's interesting. My wife just gave me hummus and cucumber. Interesting. Never had that before. Anyway, centering looks like it may be off a little bit. Let's look at the surface in the light. Don't see anything as far as on the surface. Take that back. Right here. See if I can get it to show up on the camera. The tiny dimple right there. There you go. You can see it there. All right, so we've got imperfection, dimple of some sort. Let's look at the edges now. And the edges seem to be okay, but the corners, you can see there is some wear on the corners. Look at this corner here. Tiny little bit of wear. That one looks fine. Look at that corner. That corner has seen better days. That corner is not perfect either. So we see that we have this corner that actually has been lifted. You can see here. You can see it's not perfect. Now let's take a look at this card under a magnifying glass here. Let's see. You can see there is a slight imperfection over here. I don't know if that's part of the card or not. You can see it there. Then you can see here some more. So I don't think that's part of the card. I could be wrong. That corner is not ideal. So you're looking at, let's look at the back of the card. So we found some surface issues, and we found obviously some corner issues. I think, again, this is education. Please put in the comments how much do you think we're going to lose. Again, we're looking at centering, corners, edges, surface here. Surface on the back of the card looks decent. I see there is an imperfection. Let's see if you can see it. See if you can spot it. Right there under the 53. There's an imperfection there. When you use a magnifying glass, you can see so much. I see another surface imperfection here, upper right hand corner, up here, right there. So, the surface has quite a few imperfections. Just with the surface issues alone, I would, you're talking about the ding. Remember, it's a dimple over here. You have on the backside that spot. You have that other kind of scrape or what have you. Wow, I think just with that, you're looking at an 8.5. The centering, I don't think is going to be a big deal. You're looking at some corner wear. I'm thinking this card is going to come in at a 7. I really do, because this corner is pretty dinged up. I mean, not pretty dinged up, but it's evident, and that corner isn't perfect. I think maybe not a 7. You know what? Let's go all in. The surface of the card, you can't get much more than 8 with the surface. Again, you have those spots. I'm gonna say 7.5. I'm gonna say a 7.5. I may be. God, should I say? You know what? Is this more like a 7? Oh, goodness gracious. I just think that the surface issues, the corner, I think, again, just with the corner, it's pretty bad, right? I mean, it's not bad. I mean, obviously I've seen worse, but 7.5. I feel comfortable with a 7.5. Let's go with the Derek Jeter Gold. We're gonna go with 7.5. And again, if I'm within a half a point, I'm happy. Let's see this card. Oh wow, look, this card has a ding on it. Wow, it has a crease on this card. Big time. It has a crease on it. Now this is going to be really good education here. When we submit this card, we're going to go ahead and see what does it come back at. We've got a crease on this card. You can see it right there. See that crease? It comes down from about here, comes up here. It's a crease. I think that crease, let's look at, that crease alone is going to drop it down to a 7. I mean, it's a pretty bad crease. You have another one down here. Look at that. You have another one down here. See that? Oh God. Yeah, this card is look at the centering, let's look at edges, let's look at corners. And let's look at the surface here, centering corners. You know the drill. Let's look. You can see the creases. See that? See that? Right there, and you have that. Wow, I can't imagine. I don't know. I don't think this card, I mean, what do you think? This is going to be very good because I have never submitted a card with a crease like that. So I think that a card with a crease at that length and then the other crease, I would love someone with experience with grading to comment, but I'm going to say that this comes in at a 6. I'm going to say this comes in at a 6. All right, so let's see. So we're going to go ahead and, submit these. And, again, if you come across and you see a vintage card and it has a crease just like that, you'll know, comparing it to this card, what kind of deduction are you going to get? I mean, the other aspects of the card looked really good, but you can't, I mean, you have those creases. So I'm thinking a 6, but I mean, if it comes in at a 7, that would be fabulous, and we'll learn from it. We'll obviously learn from it. Let's look at this card. It's the Ichiro Refractor Japanese version. Rare card. Let's look at the centering. Looks good. Let's look at corners, edges. Wow. Surface. Holy moly, this is a beautiful card. Holy moly, I'm so scared to even touch it. Ah, wow, this card seems like it might be a 10. I don't want to give 10s to any card, but my God. Goodness gracious. Look at this card. Look at this card. Corners, edges, surface. Is that a little... That is a little ding underneath the rookie. See that? What amazing is this? How amazing is this magnifying glass? You can see this card looked to be perfect. I did see some dust and it came right off. All right, so I see a ding, corners, surface, centering, all of that. Let's look at the back. Let's look at centering, surface, corners. Wow. This is amazing, this card's condition. Holy moly. This is immaculate. No chipping whatsoever. I just found the one ding. Wow. Wow, people. Wow. What do you think? You professional card graders, or so-called professional card graders. What do you think? I say 9.5. Don't dare to give a card a 10 that has a slight surface, little imperfection that required a magnifying glass to see. That's why it's so important to get the magnifying glass. I looked at it up and down with my naked eye and didn't find a single thing wrong with that card. But then when I hit it with the magnifying glass, as you saw, it showed right up. So we have here an Ichiro. I'm sorry, we just looked at Ichiro. We gave Ichiro a 9.5. We're gonna give Miguel Cabrera a chance here against the big card check. And this is an old card that I have had. I am the original owner as far as grabbing this. Okay, well, my local card shop, he pulled this from a pack, and I bought it from him. Look at that. This thing has been in there for so long. Look at that. What the heck? I mean, you're talking years in this thing. I don't want to damage this card. How in the world am I going to get this off? I don't know if you can see in the camera, but it's, you see right there, you can see it has like attached to him, to the card. Let's see. I have never seen this before. I'm sure you all have. Let me see what I do. All right, I had to pause the video for a second while I did surgery to this card, but it's out. Centering is off left to right. You can see that. Okay, you can see that. You can see the centering is off top to bottom on this card. Okay, so centering is off, and off just without even really examining it under the microscope. You can see upper left hand corner. You've got a dimple there, and you have you have another dimple, bottom left hand corner, right there. You can see that. So you got two dimples. It's not centered. Let's look under the microscope, see what we find. The magnifying glass. Okay, I found another. Let's go ahead and hit it with the microfiber little rag here. And let's see. It's right by his shoulder, right over here. I don't know if you can see it, but let's. No. It is not coming off. It is not coming off. All right, so two dimples. You can see there, kind of, sort of, under the magnifying glass, you're able to see it a lot clearer. So you're looking at, it's not centered. It's not centered in the back either. I noticed that if it's not centered in the front, it's not going to be centered in the back. So I guess that the corners, edges, they all look good. Surface in the back looks good so far. Let's go ahead and look under the magnifying glass here and see if we see anything that's any imperfections. I don't. So we've got two dimples, some imperfection right here. So, okay, obviously it's not a 9. I mean a 10. I say that the centering really knocks this card down, and then the two dimples. I think this card, I mean, because of the centering, I'm thinking the centering alone is going to knock it down to a 9. Let's just say if everything else was perfect, right? And so then you have the two dimples, so your surface is going to be lower. I think this card is an 8, unfortunately, because of the centering and because of the two dimples. So let's get this card in this penny sleeve, which it's not cooperating. And I don't know, this card was near impossible to get out of that other penny sleeve. I don't know what is the deal, but Let's go ahead and make a note of what we found here. I do think that this card is, man, I would have loved to have, I really did think that this was going to be a better looking card when we got a closer look at it, but it is what it is. It is what it is. So let's, Miguel Cabrera, we're looking at an 8. Definitely not the scores I was looking for. So what do we say? The Jordan scoring leader, right? 6 to 7, we said. I'm going to change this to a 6, right? This gold is a 7.5. It had a corner issue. This, look, this is the best looking card. We only found one dimple on the surface. I said 9.5 on this Ichiro, the Miguel Cabrera. I said an 8 because it's off-centered and it has 2 dimples and it has a slight surface imperfection. So I give that one an 8. Again, not a professional card reader. We'll go ahead and take a look at that card when they come back and see what kind of grade we get. All right. Let's see this card. This card, it's not centered. Obviously, you can see it plain as day, top to bottom, left to right. It's off just a hair. It seems like the card is cockeyed a little bit. You can see that the circle from the card, the imprint, is just off. Also, the black is not even. It's an old card. What are we going to do? You can see that the black is fading. You can see that even he's fading, kind of. If you look really close, let's look under the magnifying glass and let's see. Well, I mean, it isn't horrible. It isn't horrible, but you can see that it isn't perfect. It is what it is. So with the fading, it not being centered, let's see if we see any other surface issues. It's hard to see because of the material, I guess. I'm gonna say that this card is gonna come in at a 6. I'm looking at it. Let's look at corners. Let's look at this. I mean, the corners look really good. Let's look at surface edges. I think that this card, because it's so off-centered, and it does have fading. I don't know if it's a 5, 5.5, a 6. I say 6. I'm gonna go crazy. Say 6. Again, I said that the Jordan scoring is gonna be a 6, but that had like a straight up indent in 2 different spots. This doesn't have that. It just has fading. Because of the fading, I give it a 6. What do you think? I get lucky. I got a 7. A 7 on any of those cards. I'm gonna say a 6.5 on the Jim Brown. All right. Well, that's what we have here. Stay tuned for the other videos, and we'll be able to see what kind of grades we got back. This one, if you remember, we got some corner issues. We have some surface issues. We said a 7.5. This has some straight up kind of crinkles in the card. I said a 6. This looks good, 9.5, just 1 dimple on the surface. This is off-centered, has 2 dimples, and a surface imperfection. We said that this was going to come in at an 8, and we said that this is going to come in at a 6.5. So we'll see what they come in at. Stay tuned. This is great knowledge for anyone trying to learn how to grade raw cards. That's what I'm trying to do. By any means, I am not a professional. Well, thank you. And by the way, I want to mention, by the way, these cards are going to be up for sale on bigcardflip.com. Not right now. I got to send them in to get graded. I'm thinking about selling these. So, all right. You can jump on the site and take a look.